am delighted to be here with Raj Badarina, who is the VP of Marketing and Growth Services at Avangate. So first, Raj, give me an update of where we are in the digital commerce space.
Happy to. Well, we look at digital commerce as progressing in three different phases. The first phase, as we know, right, was the sales automation phase, where it was the growth of CRM, the birth of CRM in Salesforce, as you saw, and it made sales guys really efficient about reaching out and setting up leads and opportunities and contacts and appointments and all that. Now, the response to that was kind of interesting, right? The second stage was on marketing automation. Why? Because buyers got smarter. They didn't want have all these sales guys coming at them. So they erected walls and moats around them and said, look, we're going to do the research and we will get in touch with you when we are ready. So that led to content marketing, inbound marketing, so people basically looking for information on the web and really doing 67% of the sales process even before getting in touch with the enterprise, right? That was the second wave. We believe that that is not the full story. There's a third wave, the third phase, which is commerce automation, okay? And what that means is, and that's what we're talking about here, is the ability for not only to acquire a customer from a marketing automation standpoint, but getting them to transact and actually become a self-service customer in a frictionless selling model. That's what we're here for.
So I've heard that word a few times from Avangate and your fellow executives, frictionless selling.
Yep.
Tell us what you mean by that.
Well, frictionless selling, to put it very simply, is the ability for a customer to self-select themselves into doing business with you, which means that there is no need, ideally, to have convoluted sales process. There's no need for a lot of investment on your end. It's all about reducing cost of sales, figuring out how you can sell interesting new services like recurring revenue, subscriptions, and so on and so forth. And more importantly, how do you end up creating a customer experience that's seamless from end to end, even though there may be some assisted selling in the process. But that's not the primary. It's about self-selection at this point.
So it sounds to me then like customer success soon will, almost take priority over sales.
I think it has to. Somebody once said, in software as a service, service is greater than software. I think it's very clear that we are moving into a world where it's all about relationships, and anytime you want to have recurring revenues, obviously what you're telling the customer is, look, I value your business, and every time you send an invoice to a customer, it's a point for them to pause and say, do I really want this relationship with this company? Because have they been giving me value? Versus what used to happen before, you could sell a contract for 3 years, not even see them, and really start actively marketing for renewals so like a month before the contract expires. That's no longer the world. So you're right, it's absolutely about services.
So I read a blog that you wrote recently about customer lifetime value. And what are some of the metrics, the key metrics there that you believe, but also that you guys follow as a company?
What we started to see is the concept of a commerce life cycle, which drives lifetime value. What is the life cycle? Life cycle is everything from acquisition to activation to upsells and cross-sells to upgrades to renewals and retention. This whole life cycle has what we look at as conversion metrics. There's a conversion metric from every single step of this life cycle that we start to measure. So if you ask me what drives lifetime value, it's how effectively are you able to convert at every stage? How can you stop what we call revenue leakage? Because revenue is leaking at every stage, whether you know about it or not. And all of these elements is what ends up, having lower churn and having a longer customer relationship.
Okay, so finally, tell us, what can we expect from Avangate in the next year?
Very exciting things, actually. Avangate is busy working on a few interesting projects. One is we're looking at extending the concept of digital commerce and frictionless selling to B2B companies, right? Which means it's not just for companies who are looking for a consumer-oriented relationship, but how do you do that for selling to small businesses, for example, right? So how can you take the concepts that you have on the frictionless selling, on the selling small seats to consumers, and how do you extend that to mid-market, right, to small and medium businesses? Number two, We're doing a bunch of things around Internet of Things, so you'll start to see some of that coming out as well. And number 3, we're doing a lot of things around what we call active conversion tools. This is the ability to not, you know what they say, right? It's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. So, right, so we're putting a lot of emphasis on tools like that. So.
That's very exciting. Can't wait till next year. We're here to hear the update. Thank you so much, Raj, for your time.
Thank you, Rihanna. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.